Hello, my dear audience. In this episode, we're gonna travel to Malibu to visit one of my favorite designs by John Lautner. The Segel residence is surrounded by the beach from the south side, the highway in the north, and neighboring houses on both sides. Being very large, the house makes maximum use of the confined building ground. Designed with many curves and unusual shapes, decorated with boulders and made out of wood and concrete, it's a perfect example of organic architecture. Unfortunately, it's not in its original condition anymore because different owners made many changes to John Lautner's original design. This is how the house looks today from above. But this is how the house once was designed by John Lautner. To better understand the floor plan, I'll show you the original plan first, and then I will give an overview of the many changes to the house. So let's take a look inside. We start our walkthrough from the street. From here, the home is fully hidden behind a concrete wall that creates a strong sense of privacy but also protects the garden from the noise of the street. The curving wall is also designed by John Lautner, matching perfect with the style of the house. There is a small wooden door in the wall, but there's also a steel fence on the right. Behind this fence is a garden pathway, while a wooden gate in the middle provides access to the driveway. We press the button and the gate slides mechanically open. The garden is surrounded by the walls and by the house itself, like a patio. This protects it against the strong wind of the ocean. Together with the many plants and flagstone tiles, it feels like an oasis, far removed from the rush of the daily life. The house is placed diagonal on the building lot. This was done to provide a view of the ocean from every room. To integrate the landscape in the interior, many boulders and planters were placed inside. When we add the names to the floor plan, we see that both the hallway, den, living room and kitchen are placed in one open space. From the garden, we're gonna walk through the front door that is hidden behind an L-shaped concrete wall. John Lautner wanted curving organic shapes in every detail of the house, so even the front door has a curve in the middle, with a lower part made of glass and a higher part made of wood, hiding the fact that the door is actually rectangular. From the hallway is an opening that gives access to the den or sitting room. From the second opening, you can look into the large living room. This boulder creates a natural boundary between the hall and the living space. In the den is another opening, from where you can look into the dining area. There is a second door from where you can enter the kitchen. The window in the kitchen has the same curving shape as the front door. In the middle is a cooking island, and next to it is a nook with a wood oven or fireplace. From here we walk past the dining table towards the sitting area. The organic shapes, natural colors and the many plants, together with the sloping, low-hanging ceiling, create a cave-like living room. From this cave you can watch the beautiful ocean through a large panoramic window that covers the entire living space from east to west. There are no window frames that can disturb the view, and because the glass panels are placed in a curving line, there is no light reflection, creating maximal transparency. The floor is made of two different materials. One part of the floor is made of flagstone, while the other floor is made of wood. and this floor is placed on a higher level than the flagstone tiles. Both floors continue at the other side of the glass, mixing interior with exterior. The wooden floor also continues as a terrace at the south side of the house, while the flagstone floor forms the pathway in the garden. Through the glass sliding doors, we step outside. We walk around the pond that is located behind the fireplace and chimney and goes to the rear of the house. In the pond is a concrete column that partly supports a huge curving beam, which forms a part of the roof construction. To understand the placing of the beam, we first need to take a look at the construction. This part of the house is made of concrete. On these concrete walls, 3 wooden beams were placed in a triangle. The beams were made of glue lam, in which multiple layers of wood are bended and glued together. The first beam goes from west to east and starts at the garage and goes to the kitchen. The second beam is supported by the walls of the garage, the chimney and fireplace, and one large concrete block. The 2 beams come together in the corner of the living room, placed above a pond that is partly inside and outside. From there, the beam goes towards the rear of the house. Here it comes into contact with a third beam that is supported by the same block, but also by a pillar at the other side. The beams are attached to the concrete by steel bolts. Because the third beam is curving, the roof climbs from west to east, while the second beam is placed at an angle from north to south. This means that the roof is at the highest point near the kitchen and at the lowest near the fireplace. The wooden frame is safely resting on a concrete structure, and in the space between the 3 beams, a concrete shell roof is placed. And this concrete roof is decorated with wood paneling on the inside. The end result is a roof that is supported by a minimal of vertical structures that looks like it's floating, with no retaining walls, allowing floor-to-ceiling windows over the entire width in the south and west side. Once the roof was placed, the concrete walls and structures were extended vertically, allowing support for the construction of the second floor level, which was largely made of wood. We continue our walkthrough and go to the second floor level, but first we walk past a small sitting room that is used for watching television. This room is sunlit by an atrium with a planter. In the backside of the den is another planter. This planter has an opening at the other side, and next to it we see the door of the spiral staircase. This staircase is placed in a concrete tube. Very unique is that the tube also functions as a column that supports the roof beams of both the lower and higher floor level. The staircase has a planter at the bottom and a skylight at the top, with ivy growing at the walls inside. Here you see the plexiglass dome of the staircase. We step through this opening and we have arrived at the second floor level. We color the parts that are inside, and we see that the second floor level is roughly half the size of the lower level. It has 2 bedrooms and 1 studio, with the office and walk-in closet placed in the same space as the master bedroom. The bedroom has its own fireplace that is placed directly in line with a wood oven underneath. From the staircase we step into the primary bedroom, which has a large curving window with an amazing view over the Pacific Ocean. Again, the chimney of the fireplace also functions as a column that supports the roof. John Lautner wanted that the ocean was visible from every part of the house, so even the bathroom has a bay window that looks out over the beach. The shower cabin is illuminated by a circular skylight, which you can see here on the outside. From the bedroom, we step on the first rooftop terrace. There's also a second terrace next to the office. The remaining part of the roof was covered with grass, giving the roof an organic feeling, like a landscape. The second higher roof curves in a point that extends beyond the perimeter of the house, forming a porch over the two terraces. From the second balcony, it feels like sitting next to a grass field, overlooking the ocean. From the door of the second balcony, we return inside. A planter separates the office from the rest of the hallway. This wooden wall is also the backside of this bookcase. The office is elevated a few steps higher than the other parts of the second floor level. The plants in the middle are illuminated by a large skylight. By placing some of the roof beams in front of the skylight, a diffuse light is created. The extensive use of timber makes the interior feel like the cabin of a ship. Because the first owner, Mrs. Segel, was a dance therapist, the house needed a large dancing studio that looks more spacious due to a mirrored wall in the back. This studio is also accessible through a spiral staircase, with the entrance outside, next to the front door. Through this entrance, clients of the dance workshops could enter the studio without interfering with the actual residents. From the same entrance, you can also enter the guest bedroom. Both the bedroom and the studio look out over the ocean through windows that are placed between diagonal positioned wooden retaining walls. These retaining walls support the roof. The studio and guest bedroom are further illuminated by a striped skylight that goes all the way towards the rear of the house. The second roof is supported by a series of curving glulam beams. These beams are resting on various parts of the construction. The beam in the front is resting on the chimney of the fireplace, while another beam is resting on the concrete tube of the staircase. Other beams are resting on pillars and retaining walls. Interesting is that the roof of the bathroom and walk-in closet is placed higher than the other roof of the second floor level. This creates the possibility of a clerestory, and a part of the lower roof enters the space of the bathroom. This was your tour of the original design. Now I will show the many changes. The first change was made already during the construction process in 1979. The garage was turned into a recreational space that can be used for various sorts of recreation, like a billiard room or a gym. Here you see the space, but then without having any specific function. The second change was designed by John Lautner himself in 1986. A concrete guest house that looked like a tower was added to the main house. This guest house had one bedroom and one bathroom and was only accessible from the outside and had no entrance to the main house. While the bedroom was mostly circular, the bathroom and storage spaces were placed in alcoves. It was elevated higher than the first floor level, but lower than the second. With a high-placed roof, the bedroom was almost 2 stories high. The bathroom had an internal wall, which the higher part was made of glass, but with the lower part covered with mirrors. Here you see the bathroom alcove at the outside. The guest house had walls made of concrete, and the bathroom window was the only window on the north side. Furthermore, there was only one window on the south side. So most of the daylight entered through one oval and one curving skylight placed in a wooden roof. The walls of the guest house had different heights, therefore the roof was placed diagonal on the walls and the roof had a bending shape. Like the roof above the bathroom and walk-in closet, the roof of the guest house was placed higher than the roof of the main house, providing space for a clerestory and a part of the lower roof entered the bedroom space. The third change was the expansion of the walk-in closet in 2016. You can easily spot the remodeling by comparing this old photo with a more recent photograph. The expansion was supported by the L-shaped concrete wall that was already placed next to the front door. The greatest change, however, was the addition of a swimming pool in 2016. To make place for this pool, the entire guest house had to be demolished, as well as the 2 ponds. The indoor pool is rectilinear and it covers almost the entire length of the house, changing the design dramatically. The pool is separated from the living room by the same windows that once separated the garden from the living space. And even the back door is kept in place. The pond in the corner was removed to make place for a grand piano. The piano is partly placed over the boulder that was already there during the construction of the house in 1979. Created by Kovac Designs Studio, the indoor pool fits perfect with the cave-like atmosphere of the house. Interesting is that the end of the pool is at the back side of the chimney and the fireplace. Also beautiful is the curving wooden ceiling. And just take a look how beautiful the water of the ocean matches with the water of the pool. Although the pool is wonderfully done, I still prefer the garden that gave the house an organic and transparent character. Despite the many changes, the Segel House is still one of the best designs by John Lautner. What I like so much is that the interior feels so intimate, while there's still a constant interaction with the wideness of the landscape. A house that looks like a futuristic cave, full with unusual shapes and interesting details. A true masterpiece of organic architecture.